Okay, so we've got the assassin dagger and the electric whip. I am sweating like crazy. Or if it's just really warm in here, if I'm warming up. Unfortunately, I get this thing, what would I even call it? I don't know. It's not gamer heat. That sounds weird and dumb. Holy crap, I used to love the electric whip and how I don't even use it anymore. It was like my jam. But now that I've, like, actually perfected the game, it's just kind of like, why would I use it? Oh, especially because they took away that damage booster. I was critting that guy somehow. I wonder why. Curse of teleportation. Yeah, we're still on that whole curse thing. Curse of teleportation could be interesting, but also really risky. They'd have to, maybe, how about curse of teleportation would be when you get hit, you get teleported somewhere around. I was playing a game a while back with a ton of curses, and one of them specifically was teleportation. And I very distinctly remember getting teleported. I very distinctly remember getting teleported to an enemy? Like, right in front of an enemy, or onto a spike pit or something like that, and it was just trashy and stupid. It'd be cool if, like, the enemies maybe started teleporting all over the place. What would another one be? I mean, honestly, going back to my, like, combo of, or not combo, but, like, talking about event rooms, it'd actually be interesting if a curse actually made an event room spawn. I don't know how many of you guys have played, Dungeons of Dreadmore, like, more traditional roguelikes. But in Dungeons of Dreadmore, there's, and I guess just a lot of dungeon crawlers now that I'm thinking about it. There's a thing called a monster zoo. Oh, I know where that is. But, so the way the monster zoo works is, if you go into the room, it's just filled with enemies, like tons of them. I think a curse of just monster zoos would be hilarious. It's just like, here's a monster zoo, there's a monster zoo, everyone's a monster zoo. Yeah, building off of the idea of super speed mode, definitely a slow-mo mode would be fun. Maybe a bit dull, but could be really fun. Curse the reverse, your controls get reversed. That would be brutal. Curse of weight, only able to jump half your normal height. I like the idea of curses almost being kind of like a monkey paw wishes, where like it actually can help you, but it's more likely to hurt you. So like a curse of weight, that would actually be really funny. I don't know how many of you guys have seen Uncharted, any of the Uncharted games. I wonder if I could actually get a semi-completed save file for Uncharted so I could play through as Donut Drake. But so there's a mode called Donut Drake mode where Nathan Drake is really fat, comparatively. And, it's hilarious. He looks doofy, and, it actually changes the games. Like mechanics and stuff like that. Like, ledges that normal Drake could easily walk on, Donut Drake breaks. Like, they break underneath him. And, he will, like, be scrabbling along and, like, things will break out. Oh, Uncharted 4 took that out. Well, that sucks. Oh, well. It's probably because not a whole lot of people are using it. But yeah, Donut Drake was, like, awesome. I have not heard of, like, another developer really doing that. Except for, like, I guess Big Head mode. Occasionally Big Head mode in certain games will make it so, like, headshots are comically easy. But that's kind of a little bit more of a gimme. But just the fact that they actually had enough, like, attention to detail to actually put... they actually had enough attention to detail to actually make Donut Drake into something, you know, different. I liked that. But how does that tie into Dead Cells? Well, the idea is donut cells. All the food gets turned into, like, confectionery goods. And maybe the more you eat, the fatter the player character gets. which changes a couple of things. Maybe even gives them a slight damage bonus, and definitely gives them like a health bonus. But it makes them slower and not able to jump as high, but makes their like drop attacks absolutely destructive. Oh, we just missed this like seconds ago, didn't we? Oh, 43 seconds ago. Okay, that's not nearly as bad. Okay. There we go. Just gonna leverage the fact that I have a stun grenade. There we go. Got it. And get 2 bonus jumps in the air. Awesome. That's super useful. But yeah, a curse that like actively makes the character different would be nice. I guess I just kind of want the ability to modify my playstyle. And the weapons are definitely getting there. And maybe if they do like proper like fighting game combos, or just like air attacks and a couple other like useful things. Do we heal? Not yet. I'll survive at least a couple more hits. I wonder if getting more health reduces the damage you take, or if they've just nerfed the enemies quietly. I feel like things do less damage, but maybe it's just because I've learned how to... I've learned that prioritizing health is like the singular most important thing that you can do in this game. So as a non-Dead Cells related thing, somebody brought up Warframe, and how they like had played in beta, and then come back to it, and had enjoyed the changes. Honestly, I actually really like everything that they've done to Warframe lately. I think the game is much smoother and much easier to get into previously. Or compared to previously. Because I played not Dead Cells, goddamn. I played Warframe back in beta as well, and I couldn't figure anything out. It was frustrating, the menus were confusing. It maybe was a little bit less UI heavy, which was kind of a nice benefit. But overall, things just actually feel fairly well designed. That is a weird game, just in terms of, like, development. Because nobody else is kind of in that vein. I guess more recently... Oh. Okay, now we're gonna need to heal. I don't want to heal while I'm next to these guys, though. Or we get some kebabs. Okay, so let's see what this does. I don't know if the repeater crossbow is any good, but I guess we'll find out. I wonder if there's like a cooldown on how often you can drop attack one of these guys. Well, one way or another, we need to heal after that. That was weird. But yeah, if this game actually had... Maybe not blessings. I mean, I still think this game would be vastly improved if it did have some kind of Binding of Isaac style, like, change power-up system. I think it's just because Binding of Isaac has kind of set a gold standard for runs that you can keep doing over and over again. Let's see, no more curse ideas? Go for curse ideas. I don't know, I'm just kind of stream of consciousnessing hard. Because it's been a long day. I usually hit my stride sometime around Wednesday. And then it drops off again as I start doing D&D stuff again. Bonus damage on a frozen target. Do we do double grenadier? Sure. It's not like I have any damage anyway. What are my thoughts on crossout? So, part of the reason why I guess I'm so positive about, part of the reason why I'm so positive about, Warframe, and so on and so forth, is because Warframe isn't inherently a competitive game at all. I really have a lot of trouble against... I really have a whole lot of trouble... Am I supposed to, like... Oh, I'm supposed to mash it. Okay, that'll be interesting. that could be good. Probably going to be bad. But yeah, so my issue with Crossout is, as a competitive multiplayer game, having free-to-play, like, grind mechanics thrown in is a really risky idea. I don't know how many of you guys played Robocraft ever. Robocraft was kind of a neat game. Absolutely wonderful concept. Whoa, that was weird. Absolutely wonderful concept. And, like, the basic gameplay was fairly interesting. Though obviously, like, a little bit woogly. They never actually really changed the gameplay that much. At least not as far as I was concerned. Let's not go to the dark area this run. Let's just have kind of a nice regular run. Honestly, once more, I'm getting kind of bored at the end game of this game. Okay, but so specifically for Crossout, seeing as I'm being asked about it, Crossout feels like a game that absolutely needed to be PvE focused first and foremost, and by not doing so, it's an issue. I guess they do have co-op stuff. So maybe they actually made it better. But like, I don't know. I guess I have trouble with any free-to-play game where the pay-to-win people in a direct competition have like a huge edge. It sucks. When I was playing Crossout specifically, they actually gave me quite a lot of like good stuff. And so I was pretty strong until I ran into NTAC, and then he destroyed me, and I was just like, okay, I've lost interest. And, you know, we were talking about it after the fact, and he's just like, you know, sorry that I was just destroying you over and over again. And I'm like, no, you know what, this is fine. Because that's just how the game works. Oh, right. Woo, that goes down for a while. But, like, was it NTAC? I don't remember who it was. I thought it was NTAC, but it might not be NTAC. Somebody that did it. My entire, like, private Discord of YouTubers was playing that at one point, and it was one of them. One of the guys that actually, like, got into it. But since he had every item and every weapon, I was just like, well, I guess I'm just going to be pub scrub forever, because I only just got the most basic of like, tank packs. And I think that game also had, like, weapon degrading and a couple other things that just made me sad. Because, yeah, I don't know. Ow. This sucks. I'm actually kind of, like, cheesed off thinking about pay-to-win competitive games. What other, like, pay-to-win competitive... Oh, God. I don't know how many of you guys followed, like, old free-to-play games. There was one called... Was it Guns? G-U-N-Z. It was ancient. It was, like, this dumb anime third-person shooter with, like, parkour stuff. Honestly, it did not control too far off of, like, what Warframe kind of is. Or used to be. But it was atrocious. It was not a good game. But I played it because it was a free-to-play, like, Skinnerbox Grindfest. I think maybe that's part of the reason why I'm always, like, super against competitive, free-to-play with, like, pay-to-win mechanics. Is because playing that game was kind of awful. Extra skills, extra damage on a crit, yes. And let's get some strength here. Played Guns, you were a knife fighter. I don't even remember. I think I just had a basic, like, like, machine gun or something like that, because I hadn't even really played, like, a whole lot of shooters, so I was just like, I'll get a machine gun, and then it disappeared, like, 2 weeks. Yep. Well, that worked out. I think it disappeared, like, 2 weeks later because I didn't buy it with premium currency, and I grinded, like, for a week for it. Admittedly, this was, like, a high schooler week, so mostly it was just on top of doing, you know, my usual daily stuff. But that game was one of those where, like, there was kind of like level caps, but you could pay premium currency to get like a really OP gun for your level. And so playing it was kind of like dodge the whale. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the what's it called? It's an idea I think that was floated by the extra credits people, and I think it was pretty spot on, where in free-to-play there exists a group of people called whales. And these are guys or gals, let's be inclusive here, that are willing to pay top dollar for the best of the best. Okay, it is one of these guys. So they will pay out the nose to get shiny skins, the best weapons, you know, everything. And they're what the you know, free-to-play developer wants to cater to. Let's see, so what do I got? Extra. No, let's get the gold when we get a dead cell from an enemy. We want to bolster our cash reserves. But so those are the people that exist. Those are the people that keep the free-to-play game running. So obviously, like, they kind of have to cater to them, because it's hard to convince like a free-to-play player to actually, like, you know, spend money. And some people will, but oftentimes it's not enough. At least with like standard models. So you have to get people to, you know, somebody with thousands of dollars to just waste. You have to get them to show up and spend all of their money on the game to be the best of the best. And you have to keep the other players happy just long enough to keep the whale happy to get more money from the whale. That's why you get a lot of games that go pay to win, because it's like, it's kind of almost balanced, but not quite enough that the whale doesn't get like a serious power boost. It's why I like games like Warframe, because yeah, sure, they can do that, but nobody gives a dang. Well, okay, no, there are plenty of people that give a dang, but it's easier to dismiss their opinions because literally nobody's actually hurt by this, except for, I guess, their free time and stuff like that. And like, I can totally understand why catering to the whales is important. But in doing so, it oftentimes ruins like amazing games. I would much rather play like 30, 40 bucks for, I'd much rather play 30, 40 bucks for like Crossout and, you know, have like a kind of even leveling experience. Like, say what you want about the Battlefield games, but for the most part, leveling up to get all those guns really didn't take that long. Like, it didn't take too long to unlock all the content. It was still slow, and it was still kind of boring, and they could have made it faster, but it wasn't like spend years. I'm looking at you, For Honor. At least with For Honor, it was pretty much all cosmetic stuff, but still. But so like, I don't know, it's one of those where I guess I'd almost rather it if free-to-play games maybe would market themselves as like two different games. Well, no. I don't know. I guess I would pay like a lifetime fee of, you know, $60, maybe a little bit more for expansion content as they add more and more, and get like a perfectly balanced fun experience than try and like suffer through a free-to-play competitive game generally. It's part of the reason why I'm actually pretty gung-ho about Playerunknown's Battlegrounds, because I really like that game. It's, you know, it could be better in a lot of ways. There's a lot of things that could be like fixed about it, but ultimately I know the main reason why I suck is because I suck, not because so and so paid crazy money so that they'd always start with the sniper rifle with whatnot. Okay, we want to get this. Oh! Grenade does bonus damage on a frozen target. Oh, yeah. I think that includes, cold enemies, too. But, like, I enjoy Playerunknown's Battlegrounds because I only have myself to blame, my tactics and whatever. I mean, obviously there are other problems like, you know, shooting and aiming and stuff like that. But at least it's like, you know, I don't have to just sit down and be angry about, like, this player effectively cheating with stuff. Any free-to-play games with an actual story without the heavy competitive focus on competitive play? I mean, really, I guess kind of free-to-play MMOs. If you want to look into that rabbit hole. Going back to Warframe, it has a story. It's not really the focus of it. But they do actually have, like, a story mode, which is nice. I'm trying to think of other ones. I don't really have a whole lot. I don't really play a whole lot of free-to-play games. Honestly, free-to-play games tend to be Skinner boxes, so the idea of trying to fit, like, a story mode into that usually is kind of the antithesis. I guess the easy example would be Path of Exile is an amazing free-to-play game. It's better than Warframe. Honestly, it's probably the best of the best. The only reason why I don't bring it up is it's because it's a bit of a niche product, at least for a lot of people. Okay, do we get this? Electric Whip just for the bonus health? Yeah, I'll get the bonus health. I'm not going to get, like, Bear Trap or anything like that, because that's risky. Let's see. I guess generally I've kind of moved past free-to-play games, because for the most part they are huge Skinner boxes. And I just don't have time for that. Going back to the topic of, like, World of Warcraft. Like, if I don't have time for WoW, which isn't pay-to-win, generally, well, you can't pay-to-win, but it's also not free-to-play, obviously. There's no way that I'm gonna have time for, like, most things. I like Warframe occasionally. So I guess I'm a fanboy, so maybe I should stop shilling so hard. But at least, like, I don't know. Yeah. I am actually a whale for Warframe. Freaking sci-fi, cool assassin people. Cyber ninjas. I don't know. Like I said, sucker for it. Path of Exile. Don't know. Brain on loop and stuck and things. Topics are hard to think about sometimes. Especially when there's only, like, so much to say about them. Let's see, what else is there? Defiance. Defiance was eh. I'm trying to think of, like, good free-to-play products that have come through, and honestly, like, Path of Exile probably sits at the top of it. Oh yeah, this is good. This is gonna be a good run. I gotta remember, gotta freeze him too. Grenade. Nope. Yeah, we do tons of damage. But yeah, I've kind of graduated past free-to-play games. I used to play a ton of them. I used to play, like, a stupid amount of free-to-play games back when I was younger, sort of. I used to try them. I never had the time for them, and they always were really janky. Honestly, you kids nowadays are honestly kind of lucky. When it comes to like free-to-play games and stuff, there is just such a, like, there was such a dearth of good free-to-play back in the, like, the mid-2000s that honestly it's kind of depressing to think about. I mentioned Guns. Guns was, like, one of the first that I was aware of. There were tons of, like, kind of shitty free-to-play MMOs. There was, like, Alods Online and, like, a couple other games like that, but those were, like, not even mentionable. Alods was effectively just an extension of Chinese gold farming, which, let me tell you, that you go through the tutorial for Alods, which is cool. You go through Alods, which is cool, the tutorial and whatever, because it's like instance, you don't have to worry about that much, and it's kind of inventive, and it looks a lot like WoW, but you don't have to pay money for it, which is awesome. And then you get out to, like, the first main zone, and it's just, oh, this is different. They changed the level design. I haven't actually really spent a whole lot of time in Fogfjord since they changed it. But so I got out to, like, the main city or something like that, and it was just nothing but Chinese and, like, gold. And I was just like, oh, this is one of those games. Okay, well, I guess I'm gonna have to stop then, because, like, I'm never even gonna be able to, like, party up with people. Yeah, Wakfu. Wakfu was good. RuneScape was interesting. I actually played a shit ton of RuneScape when I was younger. RuneScape was kind of amazing, because it was... RuneScape was kind of the gateway drug. Free-to-play MMO. I played a ton of RuneScape, and if it weren't for RuneScape, I probably never would have played, what am I thinking? Any World of Warcraft. There we go, brain. I'm getting like a low-level headache thing. Happens when I'm playing active games late at night. Usually I tend to try and pick like slower games as we go later, because otherwise I'd just like kind of start shutting down. Nah, we're not going to bother with that. We will get the Scroll of Power. We're just going to keep pouring it into health. This is ridiculous. But yeah, so RuneScape had like a really good free-to-play section where you got to play like the first, I'd say like 50, 100 hours of RuneScape without ever really paying a dime. And then you ran out of content, and then the premium content got more and more attractive. And eventually you're like, okay, it's only $5 a month. I'm going to pay for a RuneScape subscription. And you play for so long. Or at least I did. I loved it, though. RuneScape was awesome. My brother and I would work together. Learned a lot about, like, Peekle. Yes, Peekle matter. No. Learned a lot about people, economics, swindling, and just, like, a lot of weird stuff that you don't generally get to do in, like, other MMOs, because, like, you can kind of, like, do abusive economy mechanics in, World of Warcraft, but for the most part, it's heavily regulated, and, hard to, like, cheese, but, like, I don't know if you guys ever hear of the, like, armor trimming scam. I did that. I was scum for about a day, and then I was like, I actually make more money doing other things, so this really isn't, like, worth my time. Trying to think of other good examples of things. Never did outright cheats. I would just trick gullible people. I had one friend that specifically sold their party mask for like 20,000 gold when it was worth 20 million. Yeah, 20 million, because the person switched it really fast because it was 20k versus it was 20k versus 20 mil, and so it was kind of easy to get confused if you weren't paying attention. I'm so glad they fixed that, so it was so much harder to tell, like, hey, by the way, this person's, like, actively trying to screw you. I'm glad they fixed that eventually. But yeah, I would play dirty. I was there kind of back when Magic was still really expensive to do. I think they've made it a lot easier. Oh, now you can pay for a RuneScape membership in gold. Sweet, sort of. Not that it really changes much for me. But I screwed up, but that's okay. But so what my brother and I would do is we found out you could literally just buy from a specific NPC shop that was hard to reach. You could just buy like a basic spellcasting component, and we figured out you could buy it from them for like dirt cheap, and we'd switch between every single realm, and I think they were like 100 at the time. And then we'd take it over to we'd just take it over to like one of the main trade hubs and make millions in like an afternoon, where one of us would be buying out all of the stock and the other would be don't like these guys. They turn around on a dime. They're not so bad. But so, yeah, we just switch off that, and we both ended up buying, like, a fair amount of, like, expensive RuneScape stuff. And realistically, it wasn't actually that, well, it wasn't that it was that lucrative. It wasn't that interesting. Ultimately, it was kind of dull. We ended up quitting soon after, because it's just like, okay, well, I guess we've hit the extent of RuneScape. But it was definitively satisfying, that short stint of being incredibly wealthy. I should probably heal before I die, now that I'm thinking about it. I've got tons of HP.